everybody. I'm really excited today to introduce you to Melissa Thomas. And Melissa was introduced to me by a mutual friend when she heard that I was collecting the angel and miracle stories. And she knew that Melissa had a story that needed to be told. And so Melissa has graciously agreed to tell her story. And I'm just going to give her the floor. And Melissa, I know that when she kind of gave me the overview before, and I know that you said that you felt like this was really a life-changing event for you, and that you felt like there was a divine message in it. So if you don't mind, just kind of for everybody, maybe give us a short version of where you were before, and then, you can tell your story and the message that you got. And I just thank you for sharing. So I am going to give you, I hope I am going to give you the floor.
Thank you so much, Janine, for welcoming me to your show and being here today. I really love this time with you and able to share my story. I live in Monterey, California now. I've been here 6 years. And a lot of events brought me to this place. First of all, I was in a marriage for 5 years or so. And we moved to Thailand, gave up our life here. We lived in San Francisco, the Bay Area. And we went over there together, and things just kind of fell apart about a year into it. And I had to make a really big decision to whether to stay in the marriage and try to make it work, or just maybe end it and be on my own. And it was really hard. I didn't have family, and I had to, just take a stand and put my life back in my own hands again. So I left him and got a job and taught English in a village called Bangsai, which was amazing. It was very remote, and I was surrounded by some beautiful Thai women who really took me under their wing. I've experienced 3 near-death, life-death experiences since I left him. So I got dengue fever in Thailand, which was really scary. I had to be in a hospital for a week, and I was too weak to leave, and I needed help eating and things to keep my energy level and my hydration and so forth. But I got that from a mosquito bite and where I was living. But I survived, obviously, and then I went to teach at a school and university near Bangkok, and then from there I went and lived in an island and for my last 3 months in Thailand, which is beautiful. When I decided to come back to the United States was in November of 2014, and I went to visit my parents for Christmas in Minnesota for 2 weeks. And I had my appendix burst on the 15th of December. So I've been in the country 2 weeks, a little bit over 2 weeks, and had this happen. I'm grateful it wasn't in Thailand, because I was living on an island, and I don't think I'd want to go take a 4-hour bus ride to the best hospital. So I'm glad it happened here, but it was another painful event. But there's always a silver lining, in every incident. And this allowed me to stay in Minnesota and get to be with my family again, which I'd moved away more than 15 years ago at the time. So it really gave me a chance to rekindle our relationships and get closer again. So that's the blessing I saw in that experience. And when I was healed and my divorce was finalized, everything, I decided to move to where I am now in Monterey, California, just because I love the ocean. I'm a water person. I love to be in the water. I'm a scuba diver, and it's one of the best places to scuba dive in the world. Now the water here is really cold, but it's still, there's so many living things. The ocean's one of the biggest plethora of underwater life. We have all kinds of sea anemones and things you would never guess to be seen underwater. But we have a kelp forest and sea lions, sea otters, and whales, sharks.
It sounds wonderful.
Yeah, it's beautiful. So yeah, the big reason why Janine wanted me to come and share is that I had a life-changing experience on a scuba diving excursion. I was with a friend and two other, well, he was my boyfriend kind of at the time, and two friends, other friends. So there were four of us on his little 23-foot motorboat. And we were in Monterey Bay going out towards Pacific Grove, which is like 2 or 3 miles away from the port where we docked the boat. And we couldn't find our dive site. So we took a little detour because we saw the whale watching boats nearby. They're never on this side of the bay. They're always on the other side at Moss Landing. So we all got super excited. We all were doing underwater photography, and we were planning to take some pictures. The whales we knew were around, so we were really hoping to see them anyway. My friend had me on the bow of the boat because I was the anchor person to put the anchor down when we got to our site. So everybody else was in the back with 8 tanks, all of our dive gear, and I was happy to be up front because it was too crowded back there. So we saw a magnificent sight when we got to where the whale watching boats were. We saw 4 humpbacks lunge feeding, coming out straight up like this out of the water. And it was the most magnificent thing I've ever seen. Giant beings coming out with their mouths open and closing, and like the water just falling out of them. And
wow.
And the birds and the sea lions parted ways for them when they got to the surface. It was just really amazing. And I think we were there 30 minutes and decided we should go find our dive site. So off we went, and I just remember being able to stand. I was still standing taking pictures, and then Curtis, my friend, seemed to pick up some speed, and I had to sit down. So he was probably going about 20 miles an hour. And I was seeing whales everywhere. Like one was to the right of us, one was behind us, one was up in the distance, one was coming right towards us from the right. And I was looking for that whale, like, where is that whale? And all of a sudden I looked to the front of the boat, and this whale came from the other direction, from the left side of the boat, and just went curled right in front of the bow. Like I saw the hump of the humpback go like this. Ooh. And I knew we were going to impact. So I stood up and grabbed the railing with my left hand and yelled whale, but no one heard me. And the boat, we ran into the end of the whale and went up 45 degrees. Wow. And what happened was I never let go of the railing. So I kind of pulled all the nerves from the neck down to my hand. And I went backward through the windshield. I blacked out. And no one else knew what happened. They didn't know they didn't see anything. So they just suddenly bounced up and landed on the deck of the boat. And then they saw the glass and from the windshield. And my friend said, "You better go check out and make sure Melissa's okay." So came around and found me unconscious. And I just remember when I was blacked out that I saw a lot of light around me and rainbows. And it was I just felt really protected.
Yeah, wonderful.
Yeah, and safe. I heard some things. I heard, I heard the noise from the accident, but afterwards I heard the impact. It made some crazy noises. But then I heard this voice really strong. It said, "Slow down."
Wow.
It's like I was moving too fast in life, I think, at the time. Trying to do too much, I was happy, but I was always trying to be better than I was. So
Mhm.
maybe it was just trying to tell me something. I took it as a sign.
Yeah.
And
Wow.
it's pretty amazing. So I was in the hospital for a month. I had 14 injuries. I broke my jaw for one on the windshield, and I stretched 4 nerves and cracked 3 vertebrae in my neck. So the nerves
Oh my gosh.
damaged. I broke my shoulder blade. Well, cracked the shoulder blade and broke my clavicle and
Goodness.
a rib. Yeah.
Oh, bless your heart.
Thank you.
Wow.
Yeah, there's so much more. So if you
Hmm.
ask me any questions.
So where are you now when you're, how long ago was that? Did you say the date?
Oh, yeah, I didn't mention. It was September 30th, 2018.
Okay. And where are you now in your recovery? Are you doing well?
I'm doing well. I did need a nerve replacement on
Mhm.
my shoulder nerve, and I just had a tendon transfer on my wrist on my left hand. I still can't move my hand, and I can only lift my arm to here. But
Wow.
these are here to help straighten my knuckles right now. And I'm not in a whole lot of pain. I mean, it's manageable. Maybe once in a while I have a outburst of like some nerve pain.
Wow.
But
Well, bless your heart. Honestly, I mean, it is an absolute miracle that you survived.
yeah.
And I'm wondering too, I love that you said you heard the voice that said, slow down. So have you slowed down?
I think now I'm finally going. I think finally I'm going like I'm just gonna see where life takes me.
Right.
It's
Awesome.
it's easy to try so hard to see a vision, but I think I've learned from the past that it's best to just kind of go with the flow and
Mm.
trust. So
I love that. I think everybody could take that to heart, right? I know I am, especially all the time, trying so hard to make things happen, and I could take the same advice and just kind of trust and relax.
yeah, it's important. Take care of ourselves, and I think that's kind of what I told myself last night after working such a long weekend this weekend. It's like, oh, I just don't want to rest and not put so much pressure on myself.
Right. Absolutely. Well, I think that's beautiful. Before, when you told me kind of the overview before, you mentioned that at the time when you were blacked out, you felt like it was the whale speaking to you.
I did. I did.
Which I thought that was really, really beautiful too.
Yeah, exactly. It did seem like the whale spoke to me. And in fact, well, people think I should be afraid of whales now. And I was like, no, I'm not afraid of them.
That's wonderful.
And it's, didn't do anything on purpose, you know?
Of course, of course.
But yeah, they're magical. And when I was in the hospital, the first 10 days, I would listen to this relaxing music, and every time I closed my eyes, it was like I was seeing what the whale was seeing underwater.
Oh, wow.
It's weird. I was getting all these visuals of
Wow.
the water life and colors, and
That's really interesting.
it was weird.
You're connected.
Yeah, I feel connected to the whale, and yeah.
I love that.
Mm-hmm.
Well, thank you so much. Thank you so much for being willing to share that story. And it's very heartwarming and it's very inspiring. And I'm just so glad you're okay. And of course, pray for complete recovery for you.
Thanks, Janine.
Yeah.
Actually, I forgot. There was one more thing I forgot to include. Thank you. I just want to say this one part. So when I was unconscious, another thing that happened was before the accident, I wasn't sure what my life didn't have a lot of meaning. I don't have family, and have two sets of parents, and I'm kind of like the only child that's not doesn't have. Anyway, it's just complicated family, and um, it just was always never feeling like I fit in. So I kind of would be at that time. I would be happy to like just be able to leave the planet.
Wow.
Sounds really crazy, but I was like, well, what's the point of my life? And when this happened, it kind of changed a lot of things. But in the moment when it happened, I remember distinctly being given a choice to stay or leave.
Wow.
And I decided that there was something left for me to do here on the planet, and something told me to come back, so I came back.
Oh, that's beautiful.
Yeah.
That's a huge part of the story.
It is. It is. It's huge.
Wow. No, that, I mean, honestly, especially right now, I think a lot of people are feeling something similar. A lot of people I talk to are really struggling with all kinds of various things. And I can't tell you how many times I've heard people say, what's the point?
Yeah.
So really that adds a huge dimension to, yeah, I mean, there is like so much purpose. And sometimes we just forget, don't we? We get so bogged down in what's going on with us, and we forget to see the bigger picture. So
yeah, it's easy to do.
But wow, that's beautiful.
Thank you. Yeah, I wanted to share that.
I really appreciate it. And I know that will touch a lot of people. So thank you so much.
Yes, you're welcome. Thank you so much for having me.
Well, thank you. Thank you for taking the time. I really appreciate it. I know it took us a while to get our schedules coordinated, but I'm glad we did. So
I am too. And we're really glad.
And God bless you. And you take care of yourself and get some rest.
Okay.
I know you had a busy, stressful weekend. So anyways, yeah, thanks so much.
I will, Janine. Thanks again.
All right. Bye-bye.
Bye.